Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. You join me in this one with the Manufacturers Cup Round 3. So we're going to be in a Group 3 machinery today, and we are going to be at Fuji. Now for this one we have to talk about the weather. So it's not going to be dynamic weather like it was in the daily race C a couple of weeks ago. However, it is going to be a drying track. We had about 4 to 5 laps of intermediate weather conditions, after which we had to use the racing hard tyres. It was like that as well for the qualifying lap, so a little bit of strategy was involved. Now we did do a practice race where we started around the back and we finished around the back. There was a lot of spins, a lot of getting used to the car on both intermediates and hard tyres. So that was not the best race to showcase my skills. However, for this one you can see we qualified in pole. We are going to see the top 3 there with a Spaniard and a Frenchman. Another Spaniard in 4th and a Portuguese in 5th. So this race was a very defensive race. As you can see here, already on lap 9, nothing really happened. Just trying to put in some consistent lap times. This little battle with the Frenchman though, for a couple of laps, was the only kind of action we had during this race. He did manage to get past me at the end of lap 9 with quite a robust move. Now both of our internet connections were not the best. I was currently uploading, so my internet connection is absolutely bricking itself. His internet connection wasn't the best, but as you can see through this lap, there was quite a lot of lag. It's difficult to make clean, decisive moves when there is so much lag involved. Well, we're going to fire up the inside here. He does see us, he gives us a bit of room, maybe a bit too much room to be honest. There is a little bit of contact on the exit as we get a twitch of oversteer. However, we're going to make it through. A little bit more contact here as he tries to make an impossible move work. That is incredibly ambitious to try and make a move on that corner. That is only going to lose him more time as we manage to pull a little bit of a gap. Going to go semi-defensive now into the rest of the lap here. Just trying to build up a bigger gap so that we can defend all the way down the straight. Trying to alter my lines going into these corners so that there is no possible move being made. Going to be very close now coming out of the chicane. However, we park it on the apex, keeping it nice and calm. He's going to make a little bit of a mistake, and that is going to give us the space we needed to take the normal racing line. That way we can be faster through these corners. As you can see that he's going very narrow into these corners. That's going to give him a poor exit. As we get a better run, you're going to see the time increasing there all the way up to 0.8 of a second. And that is pretty much the last action in this race. It was a really fun, tactical, strategic race. Leading from the front, setting the pace, and we are going to fast forward now to lap 17. Coming home in P1 with the fastest lap of the race. Someone did take it off us, but we wanted to get our head down for the last couple of laps and reclaim it. So there we go. Starting P1, finishing P1 with a gap of 4 seconds to P2. So into the next race, even though that was a pretty good result, we had to go again. We wanted to get more points, we wanted to get more action. It was a good race, but it wasn't the most ideal lobby. It was a low rated lobby, and the points on offer were not the best. So we went in for another one. So for this one, I tried a alternative strategy. As we know, there was about 4 or 5 laps of intermediate weather, after which there was a definite dry line ready for the racing hard tyres. In qualifying there was time for about 4 or 5 laps, so we went with that strategy, wait it out, wait until the dry line is clear so we can go out for a couple laps and set a blistering time. However, that did not happen as the dry line was not big enough when we came out for our flying lap. That meant a lot of spins, we wasn't able to get the second flying lap in. So as you can see, we started right down the back. We did manage to gain a position from the Russian though, as he got a terrible start. The German here keeps coming wide into our car, so we're going to brake early. We're going to let him go off wide. If he wants to drift wide, that's fine. He's not going to use me as a barrier. So we gain another position there, up into P13. Coming now down into the hairpin, it all gets a bit messy as people going too wide. There's a couple cars spun, someone else is ghosted up in front. We managed to keep it remarkably clean though, coming through that corner. Now into my most difficult section, probably on Gran Turismo 7 to be honest. Really do struggle at Fuji. There is a lot of corners that I am not very good at. I think one of my biggest weaknesses is the late apex. So for this one, coming out wide and then getting it turned into the apex on the exit, I find it really difficult to judge it. So that's something I need to work on myself. I'm coming down here into the start finish straight. I'm going to gain 2 positions as we go up the outside or the inside now of the BMW. Someone else serving their penalty, so we're going to be up into P10. Into turn 1, the Russian there goes for the lunge. I give him the space, however he takes a horrible line through that corner. We're going to keep the position. Now we can just focus on P9, the Croatian up ahead. The GTR there in P8 is going to go very wide. That's going to force the Mercedes into us. So we've got the slipstream now. We've got a good slipstream all the way down this little straight here. I'm going to fake to the outside and then we're going to shove it up the insides. However, we do run a little bit too deep. Credit is given to the Mercedes there for not turning in. That would have ended in disaster. So he has a good awareness, obviously using the review mirror, because I was way too far back to be on the radar for that one. I wasn't really able to gain down this long straight as the 2 in front were bump drafting each other. So coming into turn 1, however, the Mercedes is going to go wide. We're going to go through with a tiny little bit of contact. But I didn't really feel like I compromised him too much, so we're going to keep the position. I probably should have gave it back as there was contact and I did miss the apex. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments on that one. I got a bit carried away in the heat of the moment and I continued. However, we do pick up a half-second penalty as we went a little bit wide coming out of that fast left-hander. The Mercedes is going to stick it up the outside here as we go a little bit wide again through the hairpin. So we're going to go down into the other hairpin side by side. However, I do have the inside line. Little bit of contact up in front which distracts me again, going a little bit deep, but we're going to keep it on the circuit this time. and we're going to keep our position. A lot of battling up ahead from the Hungarian and the Spaniard, both in very different cars. We get a little bit wrong here going into the back of the Subaru. The Mercedes is then going to punt us. We're going to move over to take our penalty, getting right out of the way, and then we're going to move back over to the racing line. So if anyone wants to pass us, they can just go up the inside. We're not going to fight it at all. Everyone keeps it clean coming into turn 1. However, the Russian there gets a poor exit as he gets a bit of wheel spin on the curb. We're not looking to make this move as this will be our in lap. We are on lap 4. As you can see, there is a definite dry line, so we are going to be losing time on these intermediate tyres. Russian drifting wide out into the realm. We're going to fire up the outside. Luckily we don't lose any time at all making this pass. So we gained 1 position, we didn't lose any time. Pretty good result. However, you're going to see here we get it all kinds of wrong coming into the hairpin. Gonna fling it around the outside or the inside, trying not to make contact. Go massively deep onto the grass. We're going to lose those 2 positions. We're also going to lose a position to the BMW and the other Nissan, as we try to keep out of the racing line so that we don't compromise other people's races. So I have to say, this round of the Manufacturers Cup, I did 3 races, and they were all probably the cleanest races I've had on GT7 for quite some while. Of course, we all know how bad the ramming is getting on the dailies right now. We're going to come over to take our pit stop, making sure we get this entry correctly, which I did not do in the first race, let me tell you. I did not brake at all for the pit entry on my very first race. We go a little bit deep here into turn 1, but we managed to get it stopped, just avoiding the wetness. And we managed to keep the position ahead of the Frenchman behind, in the Toyota FT1, I believe. So we're still behind the BMW, trying to look for a move. Coming down here into the hairpin there's a very late swerve in the braking zone. Very late defense indeed. That's going to compromise his line all the way through this chicane. That's going to force me into the back of him. It's going to also back me up right into the Toyota behind. We've gone through with a little bit of a forceful move. As you can see, some of the other guys on intermediate tyres are starting to come in. The Toyota there is going to spin the BMW. We're then going to spin the Toyota. However, we did manage to luckily point him back in the right direction, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that one. I think that was just instant karma, as he did spin the BMW 5 seconds before. So we're going to carry on with the race here. We're going to go into turn 1 here. Catching up with the Aston, someone else just coming out of the pits. We're going to go through the middle of both of them. However, the Spaniard is going to get the old switcheroo completed on the exit of turn 1 there. But we are right up behind him. I did feel like I was a little bit quicker during the race. We're going to see if we can make that move stick pretty soon. It's just going to go off into the wet stuff and fail to get it turned in. little bit of contact there behind as the FT1 went spinning round. So we're going to be up into P10, at least for now. Going to try and catch up with this Mercedes, who has a 3-second penalty. So we will definitely gain P9 once he comes to serve that at the line. It's a little bit wide there on the exit. We're going to try and get the better line coming out of the final corner. Now he does move over to take his penalty, however we're going to follow him. We want as much slipstream as we can get. Cheesing the system a little bit with the ghosting. But we're going to be up into P9. We're also going to gain a couple positions, maybe one position here. As the Hungarian is coming out of the pits. Going to go very wide into turn 1, so we're going to gain that position. We're going to be up into P8. We're going to have a gap of 6 seconds up to Slater in the Lexus up ahead. We're going to move now to lap 8, where we did set the fastest lap of the race. We're also going to gain 2 positions here from other people coming in for a very late pit stop. You definitely don't want to do 8 laps on the intermediates. That is going to lose you a lot of time. We also gained about 2 seconds on that lap. Move now to lap 11, where we caught right up with Slater. He's going to go very wide into turn 1, so we're going to be right on his bumper. Coming now into the fast left-hander. We're not going to make a move work here, so we're going to back out. Try and get the good run coming into the long right-hander. We're going to force him over to the left hand side. We're forcing him to defend. So he takes that narrow entry. We're going to get the narrow exit there on the corner. Getting the better run out of the exits. And we're going to make the move stick. We're going to be up into P5. We're going to defend a little bit into the hairpin. But it's too far back to go for the move. So we keep that position for now. And now we have another 6-second gap that we need to make up to the Italian up ahead. As long as we can keep this Lexus behind coming through the most difficult section on Gran Turismo 7. I really don't like Fuji. Well, I do like Fuji as a circuit, but I'm just really not fast around here at all. We're coming now to the start of lap 15, where we have caught right up with the Italian, brought it down to 1.6 seconds. However, this is where my race unravels as we just get 2 wheels onto the AstroTurf there on the outside. That's going to spin us round. Slater is going to regain his position, and we are down into 6th position. We're in P Steve. Who would have thought it? So with a gap of around about 3.5 seconds, I think it's going to be a little bit too much. We have 3 laps, or 2.5 laps now, to try and gain 3.5 seconds. It's definitely doable, but it is very, very difficult, as we gained the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39.5. That was definitely my fastest lap of the entire session. So we do have reasonable pace if we just have the consistency to go with it. But we're going to come home for a P6, finishing in the cursed position as TCR Ticheney would stay. But that is going to do it for this video. Please leave a like if you are enjoying the content and subscribe so that you never miss a video. But that is going to do it for me. I will see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.